Hello, hello, good evening. It's Monica from Life is Art and Scrap. It's almost Monday. Let's create. I am just trying to get the video to respond over here on the side of my screen. There we are. Okay, so now I can see whether we're actually on the screen, and we are. Hooray! If you're joining me live, just say hello or howdy so I know you're here. And if you're watching later on replay, you can say replay. I see my mom is here. Hi, Mom. Good evening. And we are going to be looking at a collection that we haven't yet created with from the new annual catalog. And this catalog started at the beginning of May, goes all the way through till next April. And we are, you know what, I'm going to have to look it up in the index because I didn't find it ahead of time. And so, and so I don't have it marked. And sometimes that makes it difficult to find. So we are going to be looking at this collection right here called Frames and Flowers. And if you watched my unboxing video this past week, you saw me pull this out of the box, and I think I even showed you all the pieces of paper for it. It's a really pretty collection. It's a little bit different because there are a whole bunch of cut up or die cut pieces and then some die cut pull aparts. And so let's get creating with this. We're going to create a layout tonight, which is why this the camera is raised up so lovely and high so that you can see everything. We're going to be starting out with a plain piece of white paper. And in order to get started here, we are going to stick it down to our Versamat so it doesn't wiggle away on us while we're crafting. Just removing the backing there. And we will stick that down. Alrighty, so the first thing I wanted to do was to use a couple pieces of that gorgeous pattern paper. And so I've got a couple strips here that have been cut to 1.5 by 10.5 inches. And they're actually from a 3-inch piece, and then I've just cut them so that they can separate and create a nice design. Now I should mention that the inspiration for this layout came from a post on Pinterest, and I'm just pulling it up here to make sure I get the creator's name correct. And let me see. Where did it go? There it is. Kitty Schieber, Schieber. I was inspired by her layout on Pinterest, and so I took a few elements from that layout. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add some adhesive to the back of these two 1.5 by 10.5 inch strips. And when you have a collection of paper that maybe doesn't have a lot of pages, maybe you've got a limited supply, maybe you just got a couple pieces from a swap table, or somebody sent you a sample of something, then you have to get a little bit creative about how you're going to work with the limited bits that you have. And so this is kind of one of those styles of layouts that works really well for that. I'm going to, let me see, line this up about 2.25 inches in from the edge. I'm just guessing. You know, I kind of had it laid out ahead of time, but I didn't actually, measure where I was putting the strips. So we're going to see how this goes. And we're going to leave a little bit of a gap in between, maybe 3/8 of an inch, just a little gap. And stick that second one down there like that. And then I actually have 3 photos to go on my layout. And these are older photos. Let me just pull them in here. I've got that one there showing some giant pumpkins. I've got this little bit smaller one, but it's from a farther away distance. And then I have a picture of my granddaddy and another gentleman, and they're out in the garden. I think they're pulling beets, it looks like, right there. And so they were probably not photos that were taken at the same time because, well, they might have been, but it's possible that they were from different times. But I do have the date of one of the photos. This photo was July 1983. And so I'm pretty sure these are all about the same time, but it might have been pumpkins maybe a little later in the year. We'll see. One of the coordinating colors with this Frames and Flowers collection is early espresso. And so I have gone ahead and I've made some photo mats for my 3 photos. Now these photos are all different sizes. So the first one here is 5 1/4 by 4 inch. So I've got a 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 mat. So I'll go ahead and add my photo to this one. Just like that. And center it on my photo mat. I kind of like that dark brown against this lovely pumpkin pie color that's here. And because orange and brown are basically the same color. It's just brown is a shade of orange. And so browns and oranges look good together, and I think they look really lovely with the greens in this collection. And there are a few different greens in here. I know one of them is Old Olive. There's also a little bit of Granny Apple Green. Let me see what else. There's Pretty Peacock, Shaded Spruce, Seam Foam. So it's a lot of really pretty colors. And I thought they just look so nice. I mean, it's pumpkin pie, so, you know, might as well go with some pumpkin photos on the layout. Alrighty, so my last, sorry, I didn't give you the dimensions. This photo was 4 inches by 3 1/2. So I cut the mat 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. And this is 3 1/2 inch square, this photo. And so my mat, I keep wanting to call it a frame. It's framing the photo. But my photo mat is 3 3/4 inch square. Okay, so I want to kind of make an arrangement with my photos where they're kind of overlapping a little bit, but not too much. I'm going to bring this one down a little bit, lift this one up, and there's going to be a little bit of a gap there. Now this works out well because the photo down here, the main feature is the pumpkins, and they're off to the side. Plus, with them, we've got them as a focal point here, and then this is kind of, for me, the star of the show, picture of my granddaddy in his garden. So we're kind of layering them up, creating a little trail for you to follow, you know, big pumpkin, farther away pumpkin, granddaddy. So let's go ahead and add some adhesive onto our photo. And if we keep our adhesive towards the center, that allows us to do some tucking. You know that that's always a possibility when you're creating. So we're just going to account for it ahead of time. And see if we can line that up, maybe even straight. And then we'll add our larger photo. Like that. And once you get your layout inside your page protector, it's not really going anywhere. You don't have to worry about it, you know, wandering off. Your pieces aren't going to just jump off the page. They're going to stay where you stuck them. As long as you just stuck them down. Alrighty. So nothing is exactly lined up. Everything's a little bit here and there. On top of those 2 pieces that are lined up, but they're not in the center. They're off to the side. So it creates a little bit of interest when you do that. Alrighty, and then we're going to bring in some of the bits. So like I said, there are die cut pieces. There are lovely oval frames. There are sort of almost like horseshoe wreathy bits. There are leaves. There's round wreaths. There are swags. There are other leaves. There's florals. There's even things where you can put sentiments inside or journaling. Lots of little bits and flowers in this collection. So that's super fun. So I have pulled out some of the bits and pieces that I want to use. And so we're going to start tucking them in. I've got one of these nice swaggy bits, and I thought we could add that along here, maybe even have it come down over top of the photo like that. And then we've got some leafy bits here. So again, this can kind of go over the photo. Tuck this one down in there like that. And then I've got this cute little swag here. I thought that could go kind of centered over this photo. And so let's start putting those pieces down. Let me grab, I'm just going to use my liquid glue for this. And these all tie in beautifully with that paper in the background. Just a little bit of glue. Tuck it in. Let it drape over the edge. Don't need to glue the whole thing. Just enough to get it there. There we go. And then we'll tuck this one in behind. Like so. Lovely. And then we're going to add our swag. Maybe we'll add a little bit of dimensionals to the back of this one because we've got this gap. We've got a couple layers going on here. And so a few little dimensionals on here will help that stick and stand up from all those layers that are going on. When you've got these kinds of die cut pieces ready to go onto your layout, I'm going to shift it down a little bit so we don't hide the big pumpkin. All these die cut pieces make it really easy to embellish your layout, I've got to say. Now, when I was preparing this, I wanted to put the date on one of these journaling spots. This is a nice round one. And when I wrote it the first time, I went, ooh, have you ever done that where you write something in your own handwriting and then you regret your life choices at that moment? And so I did it and then I regretted it. So I'm still writing it in my own handwriting, but I went ahead and I did it a second time. I'm going to just tuck this in here. Doesn't even have to be on the same level. I'm going to try and get some little leafies in there to hide that little gap, if I can, as much of it as I can. And I can overlap this photo a bit because it's just, you know, grassy bits. Then I went ahead and I die cut a circle out of one of the pattern papers from the collection. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. And that was a 2-inch circle, just like that. I'm going to pop that right on top. And then I die cut a white circle and I did the handwriting again and I was much happier with how it came out. And so that's the one we're going with. You know, sometimes you just have to take a second run at it and, you know, you just make it work. So there we go. We've got the date now, July 1983, that was on the back of our photo down here. And then I wanted to pull in a little bit more of the pumpkin pie color. And so I've got a couple of these little flowers here. I'm going to add some dimension to that one. And I'm going to just tuck it right along the edge of those circles that I added. And I've got a little bit smaller one. I'm going to glue that one down. Like that. Lovely. And then let's also add one up here. We'll use a little dimensional for that. These are the mini dimensionals. So they're nice and tiny. And we'll even kind of just overlap onto our photo mat there. That's all we need. We've got a nice little trio of those little extra pumpkin-y touches. And then for my title, I went into my stash and using the same pattern paper that I used to create this extra circle here, I cut out the word pumpkins. And I really wish I had my tweezers, but I lost them at a crop, as one tends to do from time to time. So I'm going to have to do my little handy dandy, dip it in the glue trick with just using my hand. And so we will make it work. And I will have to put tweezers on my list of things. And because these are sort of scripty letters, I'm going to overlap them so that the little tails kind of join everything together. So I've made the word pumpkins. We're just going to try and get that going all the way across. Hopefully we won't go too wonky. And hopefully we will spell it right. P-U-M... trying to pick up the letters. P, tap, tap, tap. That helps to get just the right amount of glue on your die cut without getting so much that it wants to smush everywhere and make a mess. So there's our K. And then the I, and this will be the difficult part, is the top on the I, and I hope we have enough space. I did try, oops, I did sort of play with it ahead of time. I think that needs to be tilted a little more. This is the problem with not having the tweezers. My fingers are in the way, so I can't see where everything's going until I get my fingers out of the way. And there's our N. Pumpkin. And then the S actually kind of sits a little bit low, I find. Hopefully we got enough glue on there, because I think the join is actually on that part of the S right there. Hopefully that's enough glue. And I'm going to just put a dot right here on top of the I so I can attach a little tiny eye that, you know, would really benefit from tweezers. There we go. Pumpkins! And I think I wandered a bit, but that's okay. We will survive. Now, in order to do my journaling, because I was struggling so much with my handwriting over here, I don't usually struggle so much with my handwriting. What I did was I went into onto my phone, actually, and I typed out my journaling, and I'm just going to stick it on. Printed it out on photo paper even, so it's shiny, because I don't have a color printer. But I chose the pumpkin pie color so that it would look all lovely and coordinated. So I've got my journaling, and I know you guys are probably all shocked that I actually have journaling to put on my page, because I often don't. But I thought, let's get it done. So I've got Granddaddy, an expert in the garden, and then I've got beautiful flowers and delicious veggies. And I'm going to let that one even overlap onto the photo. And giant pumpkins is the last one. There we go. I got journaling onto a page using the flowers and frames, or frames and flowers. Is it frames and flowers? Yes, frames and flowers. The frames come first. I'm going to grab, oh no, I'm not, because it's still packed from the crop yesterday. I was going to grab my eraser to get rid of the adhesive. I will do that later. So there we started out with our plain white cardstock. We added just a couple strips of that beautiful pattern paper to ground the photos, put them all a little bit asymmetrical on our page, matting them with that early espresso cardstock, and then of course adding those beautiful die cuts from the frames and flowers collection, lots of little bits, and even popping some up with the foam tape, using some extra pattern paper and cardstock to cover up our boo-boo, and using the beautiful pattern paper to die cut our title, and then of course our printed journaling ready in the same color as the pumpkin pie that is featured in this collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing that layout come together. Once again, it was inspired by a Pinterest designed by Kitty Schreiber, and I will post that when I post the photos. And if you feel inspired to create a layout like this, be sure to take a picture and post it in the comments where I post this on the Facebook page. Keep in mind that this week coming up on May the 21st, there is free shipping with Stampin' Up! And so you can go on to the website, and if your order is less than $200, you'll want to use the May host code. And if it's more than that, you'll be prompted to add some rewards of your own when you're checking out. The free shipping is for orders $100 plus. So have a wonderful rest of your evening, a lovely week ahead. I will be away all week. There will be no Tuesday night stash dash. We'll be skipping the We Craft Wednesday, and I'll have a retreat at my mommy's house going on this weekend, and so I will be traveling when we do our regular Sunday night video like this one, so there won't be that either. So basically, I will be missing you all for a whole week, and then we'll be back to usual the following week, and our crop is coming up that weekend afterwards too. So exciting, exciting. We will see you soon, and talk to you later. Toodaloo. Bye.